And welcome back to another episode of Paint Society. In this episode, I'm going to give you the basic tips and tricks if you're a beginner, the do's and don'ts. Now, what we have here is a beautiful 99 TL Type S. We did some body work there on the door. The body and the paint was not in great condition, so we're going around and we're tidying up the paint and cleaning it up. So what we're using here is a primer. This is a 2K primer. A 2K primer means it has a hardener built in, and that helps it locking down. You never want to use a spray can primer. I know it's easy for you do-it-yourselfers, but it's going to get you guys into a lot of trouble. They do make a spray can primer in a 2K version, which I will link in the description, which is much better. Now over here, what we're going to be doing is blocking. You always want to start with blocking your primer. Never take a DA straight to it first. You always are going to finish with a DA. Now we're not going to be sealing this car, so I'm going to be sanding my primer up to 600 grit, and that's going to refine the scratch in such a way that the paint is able to fill it in. Now on this vehicle, the fender is going to be a blend and the quarter panel. Now there is a lot of nicks and chips along the way on this vehicle, so it's not a true blend, but in the case of blending, we're keeping the paint as far away as we can from the hood and from the trunk, and you'll see later we had a couple chips on the fender that we had to fix. So my blend panels, I'm using a P800, and that really helps to give a very smooth finish. So on my primer I used a 600, and on my blend areas I used an 800. You want to remove as much as possible. You can see that we didn't remove the door handles, but since it's an older vehicle, well, we didn't want any issues with parts breaking that are not available anymore, so we removed as much as possible. You can see the chips here. We used a UV primer. You do not want to use a spot putty of 1K. You want to use a UV putty. That was going to harden right away and not shrink with a UV light. Another thing that you're going to want to do is use a intercoat blending additive before you put your paint on. Another thing you're going to want to do is tack before you put your base coat on. One thing you do not want to do is tack in between base coats. So tack before your base, but not in between. You want to reduce the risk of contact with the panel. So this tacking is going to remove any last minute dust or lint on the vehicle. Make sure that you are wearing gloves. You don't want any sort of contamination on the surface of the panel. Now this is a blending additive, and what this does do is it fills in minor scratches. Do not use this as a miracle worker or a primer. You can see along the way some areas we have minor burn throughs, and what this will help do is bridge the gap and just give you a nice surface for your base to lie on. That way you don't have any sort of wrinkling or anything like that. Once you add a lot of the toners into the mix, you got a lot of solvents, and those solvents and those toners can attack weak edges, and this blending additive, which I will link in the description, is going to help you just really help bridge those gaps so you don't have any issues. Also, it gives the paint a nice sheen for your base coat as well, so you can really tell how everything's blending in. It gives everything one uniform sheen, and you'll see that later in the video. I'm using a DV1 here. This is a very good gun. I do recommend it if you're a professional, but do not get this gun if you are just a beginner. Do not waste your money. It's a lot of money for an expensive gun. I'll link budget guns in the description that you can use. Now, once this is dry, after 10 minutes, we can go right into our base coat finish. We can see here that it is good to go. We have a nice sheen, and our black primer that we used is a good shade. Now, I did not seal because of all the multiple edges, and the sealer sometimes goes further than your base coat. So in this circumstance, I recommend do not seal it because it's going to be a pain. Sealing works a little bit better on smaller areas, but with all these gaps, it will be an issue. One thing you do want to do is on your first coat, cover all your primer. You do not want to go over the whole entire car with base coat. You do want to cover your primer first, and this is going to help get the coverage on those areas that the color of the car is not. So what you do want to do is, if you're using a blue, use a dark primer. That's going to help because blue is a very transparent color and it takes a lot of coats to cover. So what you can see here is I'm using my DV1 and I'm spraying this around 14 to 15 psi. Do not use this pressure on any other gun except for the DV1. This gun is specifically designed to use low pressure. Any other gun, you're probably going to be around 18 to 24 psi, in and around there. You can see on our hood we had a couple chips. Now, unfortunately, this is not a blend because we're going edge to edge, but it's going to look a lot better than clearing over some massive chips. When you get into these older vehicles, you're going to have chips and damage in areas you don't want. Now, you'll see here that I'm putting some color on the front of the fender. That is because we are painting both of the bumpers off of the vehicle, so we want to make sure that matches. Although the color match is very good. I actually painted the passenger side of this vehicle just a few months back. Now you can see that the base coat is completely ready for this next coat. See how it's kind of dull there? Do not put your base coat on unless it looks this way. You can see right in the middle of the rear door how that light looks kind of, like a matte finish. That is an indication that your next coat is ready. Now, you're going to use probably about 3 coats of coverage for your base. And what I suggest to you to do if you're a beginner is get coverage and add 1 coat. Now, one thing I'm going to suggest also that you do is when you paint, you can see that I'm going past every line or door gap. I never stop. Do not stop on a door edge. What this will do is get yourself in a bad habit, so when you go to spray clear coat, what's going to end up happening is you can build up an edge of clear, and that clear is not as forgiving as your base coats or your undercoats. It will just run right off that edge. So I like to take my paint about 6 inches past each gap. This is a good habit to follow, and if you get yourself into that technique, you're really going to be able to put down nice smooth finishes without any runs on the edges. Now, after about 10 minutes, I'm putting my final coat of base coat on, and you can see that I'm using my tack rag before clear coat. I mentioned to you earlier, the less contact, the better. However, if you do have something in your panel, you're going to have to use a tack rag to get it out, but do not go there tacking. You can see how nice and smooth the finish of the base coat is and how the tack rag naturally just glides over the finish of the vehicle. Now this finish right here is ready for clear coat. You can see it has a nice satin sheen, nice and smooth, and your clear coat will lay down. Once again, this is the DV1 clear coat gun. If you're a beginner, do not buy this gun. It is way too expensive for you, and you're not going to be able to see how well it benefits you unless you get some time underneath your belt of spraying cars. Once again, one thing you do want to do is go past those gaps. Also, you want to keep a 75 to 80% overlap. One thing you're not going to do is try to get the first coat absolutely beautiful. You will have a couple dry spots. You will have some couple areas that are uneven. I want you to leave those areas because on the second coat, you can go back and get those. This is still evident even on my work. I've learned enough that on your first coat, I can just wait and get it on the second coat, and it's not going to be a big deal. Case in point, take a look at the quarter panel right above the wheel. You can see it's kind of light there. I'm not too concerned about that because on the second coat, I'll go ahead and I'll lay it down. We can see here I'm still following around 75 to 80% overlap, and I'm carrying on past my door edges and my door handles. The door handles are an area you do not want to stop your paint at because it will build up around the edges. The paint has nowhere to go but to just loop around all those curves, and it will just run right off. One thing you do want to do is continue to move from the back of the vehicle to the front towards your exhaust. Your exhaust is pulling your paint from the back of the vehicle towards the front. So always situate your car in the paint booth in such a way that when you're spraying, you're working together. So the exhaust is pulling all of the overspray over the car and not dragging it over fresh paint, which, well, can happen to make it dry if that paint is already starting to kick. So I always like to use the overspray to my advantage and, well, use it in such a way that it will land on paint that is not yet sprayed. We can see over on our fender, we're carrying on to finish this job for a first coat. Now, one thing you do not want to do is spray the second coat too soon. You also don't want to wait too long. If you wait too long, you can have some areas that might not catch with the paint. It might peel later on down the road. You might have some adhesion problems. So wait a good 10 minutes. If it feels like the backside of a piece of tape, that same tackiness, that's a good indication that you're ready for your second coat. So do not rush into the second coat, and make sure that you're applying your paint in the same way. Now, this is a second coat. You do want to put it on nice and even. Do not put on 3 coats if it doesn't need it. If it does need 3 coats, wait a little bit longer. Wait 20 minutes instead of that original 10. You can see how beautiful the finish is. One thing you do not want to do right away is take off the tape. Allow this to cure. If you have any areas that are bridging between tape and the panel itself, then you could take those areas off within about maybe 30 minutes, depending on your clear coat and how fast it does kick. So a lot of information here in the video that you can use on your paint job. And this video was designed for people that are beginners. If you're a professional, you might be able to learn from this video as well. But my beginners out there just need to learn the fundamentals of how a paint job works and rules behind paint and the chemistry behind paint. This paint job turned out phenomenal, and we still have a lot to do on the actual car itself. But I wanted to bring you a beautiful finish when spraying up to 4 panels, how to keep that consistency, how to set up your car in the paint booth, how to set up your gun just a little bit with your pressure, and also the biggest thing is the technique. The biggest lesson I can teach anyone that's new into paint is to get into a rhythm and follow that rhythm. That rhythm will help you each and every day. And of course, watch a little bit more Paint Society. A rhythm of watching more videos and then getting into your garage, your paint booth, and practicing is going to help you. This skill is not learned overnight, but a lot of time and effort put into each one of your vehicles and the failures will really help you out. Never be afraid to fail. If I was afraid to fail, there would never have been a Paint Society. Guys, this is Brian from Paint Society reminding you, don't overthink it. It's just paint. I'll see you guys on the next episode.